My cousin sued me for $250,000 over barbecue sauce. So I proved her family recipe was ketchup and grape jelly. The envelope was thick, cream-colored, and smelled faintly of lavender and litigation. I stared at it on my kitchen counter, nestled between a bag of onions and a half-empty bottle of olive oil. It was Tuesday, March 3rd. The sun was streaming through the window, highlighting the dust motes dancing in the air, but the room felt suddenly cold. I picked up the letter opener. The return address was a law firm I recognized from billboards downtown, Sterling, Vance Associates. I slid the blade under the flap. The paper tore with a satisfying shhk that belied the bomb contained inside. I pulled out the document. It was heavy. 5 pages, stapled. Cease and desist order. Plaintiff, Ember and Heirloom LLC, Tiffany Miller. Defendant, Maria. Violation, theft of trade secrets, brand dilution, unlawful competition. Damages sought, $250,000. I laughed. It wasn't a happy laugh. It was the dry, hacking laugh of a chef who has just been told she can't cook her own grandmother's ribs. Tiffany, I whispered to the empty kitchen. You have got to be kidding me. To understand why my cousin was suing me for $250,000 over a condiment, you have to understand the sauce. Midnight Ember. That was what Grandma called it. It was dark, sticky, smoky, and possessed a depth of flavor that defied logic. It was the stuff of local legend. People didn't come to Grandma's house for the conversation, they came for the ribs. For 30 years, she guarded that recipe like it was the nuclear launch codes. She claimed it was pre-colonial, passed down through generations of master sauciers on her mother's side. When Grandma died last month, the grief was heavy, but the tension was heavier. Everyone wanted the box. The hand-carved, oak recipe box that sat on her mantel for as long as I could remember. At the wake, while I was in the kitchen plating deviled eggs, I saw her. Tiffany. My cousin. The influencer. She was wearing a black dress that was more club night than funeral, and she was slipping the oak box into her oversized designer tote bag. I didn't stop her. I was too tired. I figured, let her have the paper. I had the memories. I had the technique. I didn't need a card to know how to cook. But Tiffany didn't just want the memories. She wanted an empire. 3 weeks later, Ember and Heirloom launched. I saw the Instagram ads first. High-production videos of Tiffany in a white linen apron, which she definitely didn't own, drizzling a dark sauce over artisanal brisket. Discover the ancient secret, the voiceover purred. Foraged botanicals. Organic reduction. A legacy reborn. $45 a jar. $45. For barbecue sauce. I rolled my eyes and went back to work. I'm the head chef at the Iron Skillet, a local gastropub. I make real food for real people. I didn't care about her scam. Until last Saturday. I made a batch of the sauce for a charity fundraiser at the fire station. I labeled it Grandma's Midnight Sauce. We sold out in an hour. We raised $2,000 for new equipment. And on Tuesday, I got served. I read the letter again. The plaintiff holds exclusive intellectual property rights to the formula known as Midnight Ember. The defendant's unauthorized production and distribution of a counterfeit product dilute the brand equity and cause irreparable financial harm. She was claiming she owned Grandma's cooking. She was claiming I, a professional chef, was making a counterfeit of my own heritage. I felt the heat rising in my neck, a prickly sensation that started at my collarbone and crawled up behind my ears. Tiffany wasn't just greedy. She was delusional. I grabbed my keys. I grabbed the letter. I drove to the store. Not the grocery store. A specialty boutique called the Gilded Pantry. It was the only place in town pretentious enough to stock Tiffany's sauce. I walked in. I found the display. It was elaborate. There were fake moss and driftwood surrounding a pyramid of sleek, matte black jars with gold lettering. Ember and Heirloom. Ancient reserve. I picked up a jar. I checked the price tag. $48.50. I bought it. The cashier looked at me like I was insane for buying gold-plated ketchup, but she took my money. I drove straight to the university. My alma mater. I still had friends in the food science department. I walked into the lab. Dr. Aris, my old professor, looked up from a microscope. "Maria," he smiled. "To what do I owe the pleasure? Bringing me leftovers?" "Better," I said, placing the jar on his bench. "I'm bringing you a mystery. I need a full molecular breakdown. Chromatography. Spectrometry. I need to know exactly what is in this jar." Aris picked it up. He read the label. Rare botanicals? Foraged roots? He raised an eyebrow. "Sounds like marketing fluff." "It is," I said. "I need you to prove it. I'm being sued for $250,000 over this goop." "Give me 24 hours, Aris said, his eyes lighting up. He loved a challenge. I went home. I waited. Wednesday morning. 9 a.m. My phone rang. It was Aris. "You're going to want to sit down," he said. He sounded like he was trying not to laugh. "Tell me," I said, leaning against my kitchen counter. "Okay," Aris said. So, I ran the full panel. I expected maybe some complex esters, maybe some unique organic compounds if it really was foraged. But the chromatograph doesn't lie, Maria. And? It's high fructose corn syrup, Aris said. Like 60% corn syrup. And red dye number 40. And, this is the best part. I found a distinct chemical marker for artificial grape flavoring. Grape? I frowned. Yes. Specifically, the kind used in mass-market jelly. And the smoky note? It's liquid smoke. The cheap stuff. The kind that comes in a plastic bottle for $2. I stared at the wall. Corn syrup. Red dye. Grape jelly. Liquid smoke. It wasn't an ancient recipe. It was a slurry of processed junk. "Wait," I whispered. A memory flickered in the back of my mind. Something Grandma told me when I was 12. Never trust a skinny chef, Maria. And never trust your Aunt Linda with a recipe card. Aunt Linda was Tiffany's mom. "Is there any tomato?" I asked Aris. "Oh yeah. Tomato concentrate. Vinegar. Sugar. It's ketchup, Maria. It's basically ketchup mixed with grape jelly." I started to laugh. It started as a chuckle and grew into a full-blown, tear-wiping cackle. "It's the meatball recipe," I gasped. "The 1970s cocktail meatball recipe. Ketchup and grape jelly. With liquid smoke," Aris added. "To make it artisan. She stole a decoy, I realized. Grandma knew. Grandma knew Linda, or Tiffany, would steal the box. So she planted a fake card. A fake card? A trap, I corrected. "Send me the report, Aris. Send me everything. The charts, the graphs, the chemical breakdown." "On its way." I hung up. I had the science. Now I needed the narrative. I went to my closet. I dug out the old iPad Grandma used to play solitaire on. I had kept it because it had photos of her. I plugged it in. I guessed the passcode. 1234, Grandma wasn't a hacker. I opened the Photos app. I scrolled through hundreds of accidental screenshots of her own chin. And then, I found it. A video file. Dated 3 months before she died. Video_legacy.mov. I clicked play. The video started with a shaky close-up of Grandma's thumb. Then, the camera settled on her face. She was sitting at her kitchen table, a glass of sherry in hand, looking directly into the lens with a mischievous twinkle in her eye. Hello, whoever finds this, Grandma said, her voice raspy but strong. If you're watching this, I'm probably dead. And if you're watching this, it means the vultures have already picked the house clean. She took a sip of sherry. I know Linda and that daughter of hers, Tiffany. They've been eyeing my recipe box for years. They think there's magic in there. They think I have the secret to the universe written on an index card. She leaned in, whispering conspiratorially. Well, I gave them a secret. I wrote a card. Midnight Ember. Made it sound fancy. Pre-colonial. Huh. If they try to make that slop, they're in for a surprise. It's ketchup and grape jelly. I saw it in a magazine in 1974. It's terrible on ribs, but great on meatballs if you're drunk. I laughed out loud, tears streaming down my face. She knew. She played them perfectly. But the real secret? Grandma continued, her expression sobering. Maria, if you're seeing this, you're the only one who actually tasted the food, not the money. The real sauce? I never made it, honey. I froze. What? I know, Grandma waved her hand. I told everyone it was an ancient family tradition. It built the mystique. It made the fundraisers fun. But the truth is, I've been buying it from a restaurant supply warehouse in the city since 1985. It's called Pitmaster's Gold. It comes in 5-gallon buckets. It costs $12 a gallon. My jaw dropped. I just add a pinch of black pepper and heat it up, she confessed. That's it. That's the character. The secret isn't the sauce, Maria. The secret is the story. People taste what they want to believe. If you tell them it's magic, it's magic. If you tell them it's bucket sauce, it's just lunch. She smiled, a warm, genuine smile that broke my heart. Don't be mad, sweetie. Use the story. Or use the bucket. Just don't let them monetize my lie. Burn them, Maria. Burn them with the truth. Love, Grandma. The screen went black. I sat there, stunned. 30 years. The master saucier. The pre-colonial blend. It was industrial sludge from a warehouse. And Tiffany was selling a ketchup jelly decoy for $45 a jar, claiming it was the heirloom version of a bucket sauce. It was perfect. It was nuclear. I grabbed my laptop. I scanned the lab report from Eris. I exported the video file from the iPad. I didn't call Tiffany. I didn't call her lawyer. I went to the Ember and Heirloom Facebook page. It had 50,000 followers. People were raving about the complex notes and the earthy undertones. I started typing. An open letter to Ember and Heirloom and the estate of Margaret. To the loyal customers paying $45 for my grandma's ancient secret. I am Maria, Margaret's granddaughter and a professional chef. I was recently sued by Ember and Heirloom for $250,000 for attempting to share my grandmother's legacy at a charity event. In my defense, I would like to present Exhibit A, a molecular chromatography report from the State University Food Science Lab analyzing the contents of an Ember and Heirloom jar. The foraged botanicals listed on the label? The lab identified them as high fructose corn syrup, red dye number 40, and artificial grape flavoring. The ancient recipe? It appears to be a variation of a 1974 cocktail meatball sauce, generic ketchup plus Smucker's grape jelly plus liquid smoke. But the real tragedy isn't the price gouging. It's the history. Grandma knew her recipe box would be stolen by family members looking for a payday, so she left a decoy. You are eating a prank. Exhibit B, a video message from the creator herself. I uploaded the video. Grandma's face appeared in the feed. It's ketchup and grape jelly. If they try to make that slop, they're in for a surprise. And then, the kicker. The real sauce? I bought it in buckets. Pitmaster's Gold. $12 a gallon. I hit post. I tagged Tiffany. I tagged the Gilded Pantry. I tagged the local news station that had done a puff piece on Tiffany's entrepreneurial spirit. Then I sat back and poured myself a glass of wine. It took 10 minutes. The first comment appeared. Wait, I paid $50 for grape jelly? Then another. I knew it tasted like meatballs. Then the floodgates opened. The video was shared. Retweeted. Stitched on TikTok. #Ketchup scam started trending locally. My phone rang. It was Tiffany. I answered. Maria, she shrieked. Take it down. Take it down right now. I can't, I said calmly. It's the truth, Tiffany. Truth is an absolute defense against libel. You ruined me, she sobbed. I have investors. I have orders to fill. I spent the pre-sale money. You spent the money? I asked. I bought a Tesla, she wailed. I thought this was a gold mine. It was a landmine, Tiff, I said. Grandma pulled the pin 30 years ago. You just stepped on it. I'm suing you, she screamed. I'll add defamation. Go ahead, I said. I have the lab report. And I have Grandma. Good luck cross-examining a video. I hung up. The fallout was spectacular. By the next morning, the Gilded Pantry had pulled the sauce from shelves and issued a refund notice. They didn't want to be associated with Grape Jelly Gate. Tiffany's investors, a group of local angel investors she had charmed, saw the video. They saw the lab report. They realized they had funded a ketchup scam. They sued her. Securities fraud. Misrepresentation of product. The customer sued her. Class action for false advertising. Organic foraged botanicals turns out to be a legally regulated term, and red dye number 40 is definitely not foraged. Tiffany declared bankruptcy 3 months later. She lost the Tesla. She lost her influencer status. She had to move back in with Aunt Linda. But the best part? I went to the restaurant supply warehouse. I found it. Pitmaster's Gold. 5-gallon bucket. I bought one. I brought it to the fire station the next weekend. I added a pinch of pepper. This is it, the chief said, wiping sauce off his chin. This is Grandma's sauce. Best in the world. It sure is, I smiled. I didn't sell it. I didn't brand it. I just cooked with it. Because Grandma was right. People taste the story. And the story of how Tiffany Miller tried to sell a bucket of lies for $45 and got destroyed by a grandmother's ghost? That's the most delicious thing I've ever served. So, tell me. Am I the monster for destroying my cousin's business and getting her sued by everyone in town, or did she just get caught in the sticky trap of her own greed?
If you have made it this far and want to see more videos like this, then kindly subscribe and turn on notifications so you may never miss another story like this.